Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine Busbury. So I hope that you had a great day. So for the new people, for the new members, for the new viewers, subscribe uh, to this channel, hit that notification bell, touch that notification subscription button, and then share with your friends. And welcome home, feel at home. This is Catherine's channel, and here we discuss issues to do with security, issues to do with women, gender, safety, the military, and so forth. So today we have a very interesting topic, and the topic is on bribery, kupeana hongo. So who is to blame? Many times if you ask people, they will start telling you, oh, you know, the police like taking bribes. But the question is, do the police operate in a vacuum? Who are we to blame in the entire process of bribery? And by the end of the day, how does bribery impact on our security or all on our safety as a nation? So, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, let's go to the point itself. So, in 2020, the East African Bribery Index report by the Amnesty International reported that 92% of Kenyans ranked the police as the most corrupt and institution, and as this institution that takes a lot of bribes from the public. And then 12% of the people that were in the survey reported to have given a bribe in the last 12 years. Now the question is, when you get 92% of the people complaining about the police and the bribery, the question is, who actually gives these bribes? The police do not operate in a vacuum. You know, if you asked me who is to blame for the bribes or for the bribery that we are always pointing fingers at to the police service or the men and women in uniform, I could say that it takes two to tangle. You know, I think the society has put it in a way that all the time we have that person to blame, and we tell stories and aspects from a single-sided angle. And I believe that this aspect of victim-perpetrator dichotomy is the one that is leading to even poor implementation of the available policies that are supposed to fight, be it corruption or be it bribery, and another form of malpractice that you can imagine of in any sector, not necessarily only in the security sector. However, to me, the security sector is a very personal sector to me. It's a very intricate and a very important sector, I believe, to everybody outside there. Because without this sector, then the security and the safety of anybody else in the country is at jeopardy. So that's why we need a very honest conversation concerning the issues that are taking place within the security sector. And this honest conversation has to run away from the victim-perpetrator dichotomy. And this victim-perpetrator dichotomy with the public have to start realizing the fact that the men and women in uniform do not operate in a vacuum. And therefore, whatever they do, whatever they practice, they are practicing it with members of the public. So the small bribe you give, and then you blame the police that he asked for something small and I had to give to get off the hook. My friend, you have also contributed to that bribery. And the question is, why do we give bribe? Are we coerced or do we give it voluntarily? I can't run away from the reality that there are individuals who are forced or even coerced to give bribery to the police or to the men and women in uniform. We have seen such cases being reported, and by the end of the day, it becomes dramatic. But we can also not run away from the fact that we have members of the public who do things illegally or who go about breaking the law, knowing that their pockets can get them off the hook whenever they want. These are people who are the first one even to tell the men and women in uniform that, Afande, can you have a small tea? And once they have given this small tea, or they have given this small lunch, you come out there and you start saying that I gave a bribe. So we need to differentiate what is tea, what is voluntary lunch and tea to a police officer, and what is bribery. If you are giving something to a police officer so that you want to avoid, maybe you committed a traffic offense, or you were in the wrong side of the law, and you are giving that money so that you can be able to please this man or woman in uniform and get off the hook, then that is a bribe. But if you get a police officer around the road doing his own things, he has not asked you for the money. He has not even told you even whether you are fake or you yourself, you are in a problem. And then you give out that money. Hey, I find I want to buy you lunch. Then I don't take that one as a bribe. Because we have even seen teachers or parents give something small, like, for the good work you are doing to my kid, and then they are given, like, I buy you lunch and so forth. We have seen other employees being recognized for the good service they are offering. So if you are giving a man or a woman in uniform something, like if you want to buy them lunch or breakfast out of the good work that they are doing, then don't count that one as bribery. But that one does not imply that you should be breaking the law because you have established that relationship so that you can be able to get the favor. So basically what I'm saying here is, we the members of the public, we like blaming the police officers so much, and we like saying, oh, these people are corrupt, these people take bribes, these people just their wives or their husband, continue preparing for supper, I'm coming with this, because that's what we have been socialized to understand. But the reality is, we also contribute to this bribery. If you say 92% of the police force is corrupt, then it means 92% of the public is also corrupt. Because there's no way you can tell us 92% of the police force is corrupt and then tell us that only 1% of the public is corrupt, because it takes two to tango. It takes two. Corruption is a process. Bribery is a process. We must have a receiver and we must have a taker. So in terms of who do we blame, everybody is to blame. And I'm saying that everybody is to blame because bribery has become like a norm in our countries, in our counties, in our regions. Like, if I know that my car, for example, is not in good condition, I'll make sure that I'm walking around with 3K, such that when you get the police officer, you want to negotiate your freedom using money, not actually negotiating your freedom by seeing the wrongdoing that you have done and even looking at what its implication could be in that particular road. So for me, it's all about while we are very, very fast to point fingers at the police officers and saying that these men and women are very corrupt, they like bribery, it's like their salary is not enough, they are taking money from us. It's also good to sit down and reflect at this as the citizens of this country. Which role have I played in giving bribery or in rendering the police service a corrupt or a bribery institution? How many times have you bribed that traffic officer? How many times have you contributed to the matatu touts and drivers to giving bribes um in traffic I can say traffic destinations or checkpoints? You are a very good citizen and you enter into a matatu, it is full. So you are an extra passenger. And then for that tout to accommodate you in that car, he has to go and bribe a security officer or a police officer in the next traffic checkpoint. So because of you accepting to be extra passenger in that car, you have made a tout to give something small to a police officer to avoid the hook. Because if you are not extra, then this police officer could not find a problem in that vehicle. You are a car owner or a matatu owner, and you playing and road unworthy vehicle around this per highway to do business. So you don't want to take responsibility for your action. So what do? Maybe you say, I'll give this police officer 1,000 and continue with my business. If you decided to make your vehicle or your road or your car roadworthy, the police officer could not find a mistake and you start the negotiation processes. So basically what I'm saying, the presence of bribery and corruption in our country is a clear indicator of unwillingness and failure by individuals in the society to abide to simple rules and regulations in the community. If we all started by being on the right side of the law and doing the right thing, just adhering to simple rules and regulations, we could not have instances that gives rise to what? That gives rise to a situation where you're supposed to give a bribe. Sometimes back, somebody told me that sometimes for a police officer, he will never lack a mistake in you. But in that particular case, does it mean that you must give a bribe to get off that, I can say, forced mistake which doesn't exist? No. We have the police oversight authority. And what is the work of that police oversight authority? If we cannot make use of that institution and be succumbing to what we quote as forced bribe giving, how is this country going to proceed? Which type of police service are we likely to have? So, ladies and gentlemen, the next time we regard police as corrupt and people who like bribes, let's also look at ourselves as people who love corruption and people who like using shortcuts to get off the hook. And therefore, it is a call that all of us have a responsibility to play when it comes to ending corruption in this country. We all have a responsibility to pray to end the giving of bribes and the receiving of bribes in this country. This is because the other party cannot survive without the cooperation of another party. So the police cannot survive in the business of bribery if the public is not giving those bribes. So basically, pray you are all well and make sure that you adhere to the simple rules and regulations of the nation before we start pointing fingers to men and women in uniform about their corruption or about their bribery. Then the second question is, what is the impact of bribery to national security at large? That's a very, very interesting question. It is a very interesting question because many times the small things we do, all the small things that we take to be minute or like they don't have an impact, actually, eventually, they have a very, very great impact, it directly or indirectly. And so that is the case with bribery and corruption, within this within the police service or within a country. I want to give an example. Imagine just the way you wake up in the morning and maybe you realize your car is not in the right condition, or you don't want a police officer to check your car. So the moment you reach at a traffic checkpoint, you give something small and you rush. So your car is not checked seriously and you have left. Or just the way you find yourself, maybe you don't have an ID card and it's at night, and because you don't want to enter into police station, you give something small and the police officer leaves you and you go home. Imagine a situation whereby that now individual who's behaving like you is a terrorist or a criminal or a gangster. What would happen? If somebody is, for example, transporting illegal arms that are made to attack a place, and because of bribery is able to maneuver through the security checks and traffic checks until it reaches that point or that place where the attack is supposed to take place. Don't you think that a small act of giving maybe 100 bob or 200 bob or even 1,000 could have costed the lives of individuals and led to the destruction of property worth millions of money? So it is that simple. The more we are giving bribes, the more we are making it a normal culture. And therefore, any criminal, any terrorist, any gangster can exploit that normalcy or that already kind of accepted culture to plan and execute their attacks. We've never asked ourselves, how comes sometimes weapons are transported all the way maybe from Somalia and they enter Nairobi and attack our country? We have had several terror attacks in the country. How do they enter? Where are those weapons manufactured? They are not manufactured in Kenya. How do they enter in the country? How do they enter in the country? There's somebody who's not doing his job, and there's a culture that is facilitating this. So this culture of giving bribes is one contributor to that. We have made it very normal, and we have reached a point whereby if you don't give, for example, kidogo, like you feel like it's like you are not the normal citizen. I don't understand. We want to get off all to use a shortcut to achieve certain opportunities, or to get off the legal process, or to get off the security hook. And by the end of the day, we are inculcating a culture whereby even the criminals, the gangsters, and the terrorists will exploit the same and continue executing and planning their attacks on the populace in the country. And it becomes very, very hard sometimes to implement policies concerning bribery and corruption in the country, where we only want to see one side or one party as a problem. You know, when we are talking about end corruption and end bribery within the service, actually, we look at the men and the women in uniform. We want to tell the CS that the police uniforms should not have pockets. Honestly. And we think like now we have said something very big, or it's making sense. It doesn't make sense, because you are saying that the police uniform should not have pockets. But you, the member of the public who is giving this bribe, does your clothes have pockets? Where are you giving? We have seen cases where people are giving police officer bribes and they are recording it. You start the conversation, then you start recording it. So how are we going to implement policies where even we want to do things to make the other party look bad? How are we going to take care of the public? Police have the Police Oversight Authority, a body that is monitoring and evaluating their crimes and so forth, and their actions. Who is evaluating the common citizen who is giving bribery? Especially these bribe cases that do not reach the level of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. So you have to start to be your own oversight authority. And it starts by actually saying, I'm not going to give a bribe. And if it's a vehicle, make sure that your vehicle is in the right condition. If it's following the law, make sure that you follow the law the way it's supposed to be followed. Avoid the wrong end of the law. If we do like that step by step, we may not be able to achieve that maybe with the current generation. But trust me, we will be able to achieve that in the next generation. And that will even make the execution and implementation of policies concerning corruption and bribery in this country a reality. We need to start a culture of socializing our young girls and boys that bribery and shortcuts in life is detrimental to our country. You can imagine how bribery and corruption has costed the lives of people in this nation. Look at the terror attacks. Look at the criminals that we have around, most of who end up being released even without justice being given to the victims. It's all because of the system of corruption and bribery. I'll give something small to avoid the security hooks. I'll give something small to shut the mouth of somebody. I'll give something small to get this opportunity. So by the end of the day, we end up having a mediocre system, not because actually of one party, but because all of us participated. And sometimes you may not have actually given that bribe, but your silence and the way you are endorsing it is also a contributor. If we cannot all of us stand up and start having an honest conversation about bribery and deconstructing the victim perpetrator dichotomy when it comes to bribery, then we have a long way to go. We will have nice policies. We will be forcing the members in parliament, we will forcing the presidents of all regimes, we will be forcing officials in the government to come up with policies and regulations about bribery and corruption. But trust me, if as the public we are not ready to be part of this change journey, then all this noise that we are making, oh, these people are corrupt, we will continue making them forever. So for me, it is a call to you that do not get accustomed to unfair way of securing services, of getting off the security hooks, and shortcuts to getting services or running away from the law. Be on the right side of the law. And if you decide to give or to buy lunch to a police officer as a friend, buy that without any entanglements and strings attached. If you know you are giving a police officer money so that he can favor you or he can not question you on one or two things, then just know that's bribery, don't give it. Yeah. And to the police officers, sometimes if you find somebody doesn't have a mistake, don't impose mistakes on people, yawa. Don't impose mistakes to extort the resources from people. Don't use your position to exploit money, to exploit and to extort money from people. This country has given you the mandate to secure the people and its boundaries. You have the sole duty and responsibility to make sure that all the time people are secure, the investments are secure, our country's borders are secure. And therefore, a slight stupid mistake that you may do, maybe once, all within a minute, can jeopardize the security of a nation or the security of the people. That single vehicle you live that is roadly unworthy can cause accidents and kill more people, more than even 2 people. Even 1 person is very, very important. A single mistake of letting people into a place or not being keen to scrutinize and screen individuals because maybe they came, they laughed and said, I find they have something small, and then went like nothing happened, could ruin the security of an whole institution. So it's a call to all of us that the members of the public, let's stop being accustomed to unfair ways and shortcuts to gain some services or getting off the security hook. And on the side of the police, let's not get accustomed to forcing mistakes on people. And even when people are in mistakes, trying to negotiate the release of people. No, your work is to arrest and take to court. Just do that. Otherwise, for us to end the victim perpetrated economy when it comes to bribery, then all of us have to take responsibility. And that responsibility is very simple. Play your part as a Kenyan citizen or as a citizen of a country, and play your role diligently and honestly as a police officer of a country who has been mandated with the duty to ensure security or to ensure law and order in the nation. Thank you so much. Let's meet next week. And in next week, we will have something very, very hot. It's indeed hot. So next week, we'll be looking at the entire aspect of tattoo and how it can cost your service or your dream of working in the police service. So for those young men and women outside there who want to be in the police service, and maybe you are thinking of tattooing your body and you have not entered the service, let's meet next week and look at tattoos and the do's and the don'ts, the do's and the don'ts as far as tattoos are concerned in the military and police service. So for now, bye-bye. Keep sharing, bring in the comments, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that the next time we'll be having the conversation, you can be able to get the alert that we are live. Otherwise, have a lovely day, have a lovely evening wherever you are, and bye.